Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you are getting settled into a nice, comfy spot. As you can see, I am reclining on my sofa, all ready for this meditation series, which is why my body looks so squished up and you can't really see my neck, but it's fine. Who needs a neck when you're going to do meditation? So today we are going to talk about anxiety. In the poll, it came out just marginally on top. And so the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to explain to you guys where anxiety actually comes from, because I feel like once you know a little bit more about it, hey Tim, good morning. Once you know a little bit more about it, then you can have the knowledge to tackle it head on. And then we're going to do a really great, if I don't say so myself, meditation, which will teach you a very, very useful tool. Now, this tool is something that is kind of newer to my repertoire. So I know that even if you are my client, you haven't learned it yet, which is very cool. Again, if I don't say so myself. I crack myself up. Anyway, so the first thing that's really important for you to understand is that anxiety is a natural reaction that's built into your DNA. It starts at the very base of your skull, and it's a survival mechanism that's existed since Homo sapien times, since before we knew how to make fire, right? And it is part of the reaction, fight or flight. Okay, so you've got fight and flight, which you've probably heard of before. What happens when we perceive a life-threatening situation? Our fight or flight mechanisms are triggered. When our fight or flight mechanisms are triggered, we go into a state of high stress. A bunch of adrenaline is released, a bunch of cortisol, in order to prepare us to fight or run away, right? All of the oxygen, well, not all, but most of the oxygen in our body is pumped to our arms and legs, again, in order to help us to fight or flee. Our breathing rate increases, our it shallows as well, our heart rate increases. Everything that happens in our body, we start to sweat, right, as a means to keep our body temperature the same. So everything that happens when you get anxiety is biologically for this reason, because your body has gone into fight or flight, because it's perceived a life-threatening situation. Now, most of the time, anxiety is not triggered by a life-threatening situation. Most of the time, the brain is just tricking you into feeling like it's life-threatening and activating your fight-flight response, but it's a false trigger. And so that's why anxiety is actually so easy to kick, is because as soon as you identify the trigger and you desensitize it, then your anxiety is not falsely triggered anymore, if that makes sense. So that's how it works. We go into a state of anxiety frequently when the stress of everyday life becomes too great. And then when we don't know some really great coping mechanisms for anxiety, our brain will send us fleeing into depression. That's the flight part. And then we'll just bounce backwards and forwards between anxiety and depression until the end of time, unless we learn some great coping mechanisms. If you look around at society today, you can see that that's absolutely true. 65% of our society is on either anti-anxiety or antidepressant medication. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There's absolutely no judgment around being on medication for something that's debilitating. The thing is that the education as to the coping mechanisms is so low and non-existent that that's kind of what fuels me to get this information out there, because you don't need to have it indefinitely when you can learn some replacement coping mechanisms. So that's my 2 cents on how anxiety works and where it comes from. I did not make that up. You can Google that. It's readily available information. I just like to digest it in bite-sized chunks so that you can process it, so it kind of makes sense to you. All Righty, so let's go ahead and get into the meditation portion of it. Before we begin, I just want to establish our anchor. So we're creating an anchor today for security. Here's the thing. When you're going into anxiety, it's out of fear, right? It's because your body has sensed a life-threatening situation and that's kicked you into fear. We're going to create a security anchor, which is going to give you the sense of being safe so that it'll pull you back out of fear. When you're in fight or flight, which is what anxiety is, you do not have access to your internal resources. Your internal resources are your logic, your reason, your analyzing, decision-making, willpower, your intuition, your strength. All of that stuff which you have inside of you, fear clouds your access to it. So using a security anchor can allow you to get back in touch with your resources so that you can more easily manage your environment. Okay, so a finger press is the most easy one to do because you can do it no matter where you are. So you can do a thumb and a forefinger, thumb and middle finger. If you already have anchors, if you worked with me at all, you probably at least have one anchor. So pick a different hand or pick a different finger to solidify your security anchor. Okay, so decide which one you're going to use, and then use that same one throughout the entirety of the exercise. An anchor, by the way, is a physical stimulus, so a physical sense that triggers an emotional response. So that could be, hey, Rochelle, hey, Grace, hey, Chanel, welcome, you guys. So a physical stimulus could be something you smell, something you see, something you feel, something you touch, something you taste. All of those are physical stimuli, right? When you smell a turkey dinner, what does that make you think of? Now, some people say Thanksgiving. Yes, but that also elicits an emotional response. If you enjoy Thanksgiving or you had great memories of great memories of Thanksgiving as you were growing up, it probably brings up the emotion of love, comfort, things like that. But if you did not enjoy Thanksgiving, then it probably brings up other kinds of emotions. I have zero attachment to Thanksgiving at all because I was raised in a country, or in two countries, neither of them celebrated Thanksgiving. So I love it now, and it kind of brings up, a feeling of yum. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving, but no like warm and fuzzies for me when it comes to Thanksgiving. Another physical stimulus that you could associate with would be like a song that you listen to at your high school prom, right? And that could be good or bad, depending on how you felt about yourself or depending on how you felt about prom. Doesn't mean it's a positive stimulus. It could be a negative emotional response. But today we're going to specifically create a physical stimulus that will trigger a positive emotional response. So the physical stimulus is your finger press, and the positive emotional response is comfort, safety, security. Okay, so that is your preamble. That's so that you understand what... That's awesome, Tim. You do need more fingers. Maybe you can add some. I bet that there's a way that you can figure it out. So go ahead, get comfy. If you can put your feet up and if you can rest your head back, that is the most ideal situation. Okay. Good. So just beginning by taking some nice deep cleansing breaths. When you breathe out of your mouth, you actually give any stress, any tension, more permission to exit your body. Breathing out is giving it permission anyway, but when you breathe it out of your mouth, you're giving yourself even more permission to let even more stress and tension go. So another nice deep couple of breaths. One more. And just imagine that an energy or a light or a color that represents calm is starting in the center of your crown. And you can do this exercise with your eyes open, but you'll find that it'll be more effective if you do it with your eyes closed. Shuts out all the distractions that are happening that you can see with your vision. All environmental sounds just kind of blend into the background for now, because they're unimportant to pay attention to, as your mind just keeps redirecting back to the sound of my voice. And any thoughts that you notice that are moving through your mind, just acknowledge them. And then let them roll off to the side. Let them know that you'll be right back with them in just a few moments. But right now, this is your time. And your attention keeps drawing itself back to the sound of my voice, so that you can be as present as possible for the remainder of this exercise. And as this light or color moves its way down your forehead, over your face muscles, releasing and relaxing all the muscles behind and around your eyes, your cheeks, your nose, your mouth, your tongue, down your throat, releasing all the muscles, especially behind the jaw. As your muscles down the back of your head to your neck, release, relax, and unwind, and any tension that's sitting on top of the shoulders just rolls right off onto the floor. Let it go. Give it permission to leave, as you choose at this time to let as much tension and stress go as you want to. And wouldn't it be interesting to choose to allow all of the tension and stress to be released? As calm and peace move down your arms to your hands and fingers, releasing and relaxing the breath as the color moves into your chest and through your solar plexus, cleansing and healing. And I wonder, can you imagine what that calm color would look like or feel like or sound like if it moved into every single cell in your body? Through the abdomen, over the hips into the thighs, the knees, shins, calves, ankles, feet, and toes. As you give your body permission to relax even more into the gentle, firm surface beneath you. I'm going to count you from 5 down to 0, and on each count you'll find yourself going a number of times deeper into this state of relaxation. And pick a number in your mind now and allow yourself to go that many times deeper into this relaxation state with each and every count. Relaxation is a new word that we're coining just for this meditation. Starting at 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Zero is even deeper into relaxation now. Relaxation. And another nice deep couple of breaths right now, and whatever's going on in that brain of yours, just acknowledge it, let it go, and continue to bring your attention back to the sound of my voice. It's important to try not to resist thoughts because more often than not, thoughts just want your attention. And once you give them a little nod and let them know that at least you've seen them, that you'll get back to them when you're done, it gives them permission to kind of roll off to the side. If you try to press against them and resist them, they press right back and resist right back. We want to go counter to the flow, or counter to what seems intuitive, which is to push it away. But actually, what is more intuitive is to give it permission to be in existence and then let it roll off to the side. Now I want you to think of a time, a specific time in your life where you felt very, very secure. Perhaps it was a time where your connection with Source or God felt incredibly strong and you felt so well protected and so safe and so taken care of. Or perhaps it was in the arms or the presence of someone who accepted you and loved you unconditionally for that moment, just the way that you were. Or perhaps it was a different kind of moment where you were physically very secure, snuggled down in a soft, cozy blanket where you had nowhere to go and nothing to do except for just to be. Or any other variation of security for you. And once you remember that time, I want you to let yourself kind of drift up above the now, drift all the way back to that moment, down to your body, that you felt very, very secure, and see what you saw. Feel what you felt. Hear what you heard when you were so secure. When you can feel that sense of safety, comfort, or security, hold your finger press. Taking some nice deep breaths in. Allow those images to expand. Allow the details to keep filling themselves in. Until that sense of security and safety has filled you all the way up from the top of your head, all the way down to the tips of your toes. Locking it into place. Good. Now think of a different time, another time when you felt really, really secure. When you can think of that time, drift up. Above the now, go all the way back in time, down to your body. Seeing what you saw, feeling what you felt, hearing what you heard when you felt so secure. To that feeling, holding your finger press and allowing that feeling to keep expanding bigger and brighter within that moment. Locking it into place. And another time that you felt really, really secure. Lifting up, going back to that time, down to your body, seeing what you saw, feeling what you felt, hearing what you heard when you were so secure. Make sure to hold your finger breaths, hold your anchor. Take some nice deep cleansing breaths to really infuse the sense of security deep into your cells. Locking it into your finger press, sealing it into place. Hold your anchor for these next few moments, and I want you to think about each of these 3 moments. Just keep thinking about each one in turn, connecting with the different levels and the different sensations of comfort and security with each event that you recall. Holding your finger press, taking nice deep breaths. The breaths are an important part of this process. It's part of regaining control over your body when you feel like you've lost control over it, is slowing down your breathing. So if you need to, breathing in on a count to 5 and holding and then breathing out to a count of 5, just to regain control of your breath in your most heightened moments while you connect with this sense of security, can really help to interrupt the patterns of stress that may have temporarily overtaken you. So making sure that your breathing is deep, your belly button moves out when you breathe in, and that it is slow, that you can at least count to a 3 count as you breathe in. Like a slow 3 count, though. Like a 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2, 3. That is a crucial part of regaining control over your body and mind. Good. Locking that into place, sealing it into your finger press. So now, in the future, anytime you start to move into a state of anxiety, you have this security anchor that you can use. If you need to set yourself reminders to use it, do so. You do have control over your body and mind. You can do this. You are strong enough. And allowing your unconscious mind to vent out any negative emotions or programs in your early morning venting dreams. All your conscious and unconscious works together to bring about positive changes in outer awake life. Sealing it all deep into your mind once more at 0, which is deep sleep. 1 is a nice deep cleansing breath in. You can release your anchor now. 2 is coming back to the body, back to the room. 3 is a wonderful sense of well-being. 4 is an even more alert number. And 5 is eyes open, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake, and alert. So there you go, guys. Hi, welcome back. This technique, if you have just more mild anxiety, this technique can actually kick the mildest cases of anxiety without any further work needed. If you need more support, I do have a 4-week anti-anxiety course that comes free as a part of my membership. You can hop onto my website, abbylevine.com. Under programs, I have my membership available there, and I have a 4-week course that just comes as part of it under other programs. Really super powerful. It deals with a bunch of different types of anxiety. If you have more questions, definitely either comment on this video or just reach out to me directly. Anxiety is incredibly easy to get rid of, and you don't need to live with it. And I'm not saying that because I've never lived with anxiety. I'm saying that because people, even with the most extreme cases of anxiety, have been completely healed from it after just a little bit, just a few sessions. So you don't have to live with it. It's kind of one of those things that we've just accepted as part of life, and it's really not. So there's that. Oh, in the comments, I'll post the steps. Oh, one more thing. If you want to get the security anchor to be the most effective possible, practice it for 10 to 30 minutes every day for the next week. So between 10 and 30 minutes every day for the next week, just spend that 10 to 30 minutes just reinforcing your security anchor, and you will have a button that anytime you push it will bring you a sense of peace and security. It's totally worth it, 100%. Okay, guys. Well, it's been a pleasure being with you today. Have an awesome rest of your day and rest of your week, and go and continue to be the wholest version of you, because whole is the new cool. Bye.